This is my favorite article. It is entitled Parting the Waters of Israel's Offshore Energy Industry. It was published in Business Without Borders on November 1st, 2012, and it was written by Sean McCarthy, and I have posted a link right here. Alright, so to summarize this article, it's basically about how the Israelis found natural gas in the Mediterranean Sea, and they also found shale oil on their land. They found 32 TCF, which stands for trillion cubic feet of gas, and they're hoping that out of that 32, 17 trillion cubic feet will be available to export to other countries. The main idea, I guess, of this article is about how they're looking for Canadian investment, specifically Canadian investment, for capital and technical expertise, and they are looking to start production in 2016. So, basically, this article was very interesting. I found that it was kind of strange actually to read an article that wasn't about war, destruction, and stuff like that about Israel, but this one was actually more about growth, establishment, and hope for Israel's economic position. So basically, what they're looking for in Canadians is to invest through capital and Canadian expertise, just basically to set up the infrastructure needed to execute this extraction, which is an expensive one. Um, Also stated in the article was that the amount of gas and oil, I guess, it was slightly unclear, but it would be equal to Saudi Arabia's um, levels of fuel. And so basically, with the right tools and timing, Israel's reserves theoretically could prove to be very important. Well, not prove, they definitely will be important to the world's energy supply, but it really could help out Israel. All right, so the connection to international business strands, I linked it to international trade, which is, I guess, kind of obvious. And I pretty much just put it under just global trade. I put it under what makes a company global under investment. So basically, what I mean by that is that this article is basically all about investment. As I said up here, they are looking for Canadian investment here. Um, so pretty much one of the ways to be in international business is through investing or building stuff like that in another country, like a manufacturing plant. I guess a refinery plant would be quite similar. So, for my opinions and thoughts, I pretty much could go on about this for a while. In all, I found this article very interesting and strange. I found it really strange that they're looking for Canadian investment specifically, and it'll definitely be a new ballgame for Canadians in Israel. Um, so, also, what I'm really going to talk about for this part is whether or not the discovery fuel is actually a good thing. Um, First of all, though, if you want to talk about why they're choosing Canadian investment, I believe over countries like the United States, the UK, or say an expert even like Saudi Arabia, it's definitely something political. Canadians are a little bit more peaceful, I guess, though we do have allies if needed. We do have the expertise in refining of oil. Um, so the article addresses how business in the Atlantic Ocean would be similar, but I slightly disagree with that. I don't think it'll be similar at all. Um, so specifically Canadian investment because it's stable and we could definitely help them out. But so going back to whether or not the discovery of fuel is a good thing, okay, the discovery of fuel is a great thing, but the physical being of oil right now in a war-torn Israel is probably not amazing. Um, the last thing Israel would really need is a war over oil. So the article would like to say that fuel will help foster economic integration and improve the prospects of peace in the region. By so I would like to counter that by saying I think it'll actually create slightly more conflict over the possession of Israeli gas and shale oil. There are definitely many positive aspects, such as Israel would become a lot more self-sufficient. They wouldn't be threatened on fuel reserves again, like when their pipeline from Egypt was bombed. Um, it would also create them to be an energy superpower, and it would definitely make them a formidable ally, which would definitely be useful, especially if Canadian investment is involved. It would definitely propel us again to the top of the energy superpower list. So, again, just to recap everything, I basically think it could be a good or bad idea. The main reasons for good is it will help out Canada. It will help Israel become more self-sufficient. For the negative aspect, you do have things like terrorism, which will target oil tankers and reserves in the area. It will possibly create conflict over the possession of it. And so, really, it was a really interesting article, and there definitely are debates for both sides. Though I actually haven't really decided which one I'm leaning towards. So that is my article on Israel.